Hey guys, how's it going? I picked up a couple more saws. You guys know me, I'm always buying saws. It's what I do. I have a little bit of a problem, as do most of us. I picked up a couple more saws. Today's video, let's just go to the back of the F250 Power Stroke and have a look at the two saws I built. I'll start with the first one and see if we can get it running, and then if there's time, I'll jump to the second saw. See you guys at the tailgate. Okay, we're here on the back of the F250. Took her for a run today, a little garbage run. And I almost forgot to show you guys these. I picked these up a few days ago or a week ago. First off is a saw. I already have one of these. Maybe I'll pull it out right here. This is another 181. 1985 vintage. Had this one for a long time. I don't even remember where it come from, but I like these saws. They're very strong. They're about 82 cc's. Anyways, so the other saw we're going to look at was the one I was after. Hey friends, you ever catch yourself on fire grinding? True story, I did that today. But there was another saw I wanted, which is off to the left here. And he said, I got this off my buddy William, and it said it was his cousin's saw or something like that. So when I saw this thing full wrap, it's in really, really nice shape. I couldn't pass it up. This is also a 1985. So this is the saw that came out before the 288 XP. My first experience with these, I used to cut firewood with a guy that ran a 281. And he used to buck hardwood with his 281 and a 24 on it. And it was just a phenomenal saw. It was very strong. And I always thought, you know, if I could get my hands on one of those, I would. If you go back years ago, I did a 288 about 5 years ago. And that was actually built on a 181. Okay, I just want to see if this thing will start. I'm going to take this recoil off and see what's going on with it. To see if this thing runs. My 181 there, I couldn't get it to start last time I went to run it. So it actually has, I put the 288 top end off that clone saw that we built, and it never ran since. I threw it on there. I was a few days before bucking stock last year, and I thought, let's bring a 288 to the party. And what actually happened was it wouldn't start, so I never even threw it in the truck. I have a feeling that I glued the impulse hole down. These are the wrong bolts for this saw, but that don't bother me. The condition of this thing is just so nice. I couldn't pass it up. I would like to build a 288 out of that that box of parts that I got from a subscriber. He sent me the eliminator top cover and all that. That's the idea, is I would like to put those parts onto a saw, and it may actually end up being this saw. Although, I might actually leave this one stock now and do something with that saw. These things are strong. I've always liked the 181, 281. They pull hard. And they're not super heavy, and I like them. I actually like them more than a 288. So, but poured at a 288 is just not so. The one I built was, anyways. I've done quite a few 288s over the years, and they seem to pour it up real nice. Again, stock, they're low exhaust roof, short blowdown, little tiny wee transfers. So I go in there and I make them transfers big. And Interesting. So this thing's all jammed up. I'm gonna go get a screwdriver and see what we can do with this. Maybe it needs to be loosened up. There we go. I'll put a little WD in there. Spin it around. There you go, friends. Just like that. Anybody want some compression? I got some here. This thing thumps hard, so it tells me right away it's probably pretty mint inside. I don't know what it is lately. I'm into the 80cc class. Not really by design. I got some more parts in the mail, and I think you guys are going to be happy with what we have coming up. I was actually surprised by those boys in reeds. They didn't really do anything. I feel like they made the saw maybe start and idle a little bit better, but that was it. Nothing on the top. In fact, on the top, it almost felt like those reeds were kind of fluttering. So, I'm sure ported they'll help, but yeah, I was kind of shocked that I thought that those reeds would do a little more in a stock saw. I felt like maybe we'd get a little more RPM or something like that, but no, it really didn't do much of anything on that Poland. Okay, well, these are great saws. These are some of my favorite saws ever made. This era of Husqvarna. You guys know me, I like my 266s. Just waiting for it to dry up a bit. I got lots of little trees to deal with, cut down. I got a monster in the back corner I want to take down this year. Okay, well, should we take the top cover off just to see what we got? Oh, wow. Yeah. This Recoil definitely has some issues. Oh, you know what? Let's put some fuel in it. Let's put some fuel in it and see if this thing runs. There we go. I put a little fuel in here. Let's see if we can get this thing to start with the recoil the way it is. Otherwise, I'm going to have to replace the recoil, and that'll probably be a job for another day. Okay. Notice this is broken pretty bad, so I don't want to say I have one. I may not. It's hard to say at this point with all the junk I got. Okay, I'll just move you guys back, and I'll just stand here and I'll pull her over. Okay. Full choke. On. I'm parked a little too close here, friends. There you go. Oh, that hurts. Well, the saw looks nice. Ain't much nice about it, though. Hold on, friends. Went to the parts stash. This may end up just being a video on this saw, if it doesn't cooperate. These are the things we do, though. When you get a new saw, you never know what it's going to do. This saw is 40 plus years old, so again, it's pretty incredible how many 40 plus year old pieces of equipment you see rolling around. Not many these days. I don't like these bolts. I'm definitely going to replace them with the proper ones. But that's easy for me because I got so much junk laying around if you don't have the proper ones. You put what works. Okay, friends. So, if you notice right here, this has a lot of wear. So, I'm going to grab a, hey, look at that, 281. Sure, just roll that. Love when you guys send me stuff. This stuff came from a subscriber, and their name has escaped me at the moment. You know who you are. Post a comment. But yeah, like stuff like that, friends. That helps me out. Because being a guy that plays with almost all vintage saws, this stuff's getting harder and harder to find. Okay, put this one in. Saws like this with a lot of static compression are very hard on recoil, so. Not that, I mean, that recoil's 40 years old, but it's got a lot of damage. I could probably file it, get the grooves back to not, they're rounded out. They should be square and sharp because they grab on the starter paws. But in this case, I'll just swap the recoil because it's probably just faster. Just want to hear this old girl fire off. Working on my bike today, friends. Yeah, getting there. Don't worry. As soon as that thing runs, I'll show you guys. Okay. We got a recoil. We got fuel. What could go wrong? Or what could go right? Okay, full choke. Should I grab my tuning screwdriver and see? Probably gonna have to take the top cover off because I can't find the jets. Oh, we'll see. We'll see where this thing's at. Okay, friends, this thing's a little bit lean. I'll just bring you guys back in. I'll show you what we do with that. Kill switch isn't working. That's pretty much 98% of these saws have a broken kill switch. Started pretty good though. Yeah, I mean, I only pulled it over a couple times. With the other recoil, and what, twice with this one? That's a good sign. This thing's nice. I'm looking at the one sitting next to it. The one sitting next to it is like original. It's dirty because it's been sitting on a bench or on a shelf, but this one's like extra clean. I think it's been clear coated or painted though. I'm not sure. Okay. So this has a Tilton HS. Should be governed. Although I do not see. Oh, this might not have a governed carb on it. This might actually be a 288 carb or a 281 carb. Oh, I think I see a governor there. Yeah, I see a governor. There's a governor down here, friends. Okay, so let's tune this thing. Let's fire it back up. It's a little lean. Oh, yeah, I see. That switch is a little bit not happy. It's this thing's a little lean on the low jet, and that's why it's idling so fast. Okay, so we'll pull it back over, we'll fire it up, and then I'll show you how to adjust the low jet. Oh, jeez. Okay, first step is to turn the low jet to the left, opening it until the saw starts to slow down and wants to die. Listen to this. Now I'll turn to the right, leaning the saw out, again until it wants to die. And you'll hear as I turn it in, as it gets leaner, it runs faster until the point where there's not enough fuel and it'll want to die. Okay, friends, notice I turned it out till it wanted to die. That's rich, and then I turned it in. Now, this thing turned in substantially more than I thought it would. Where are we at here? Okay, so we're at 3/4 of a turn, and we went 1 3/4, I think, or 1 1/4, which is kind of a lot. Normally it's 3/4 of a turn. See if this thing will start again. Let's try it again. Okay, hold on, friends. I gotta get this adjuster turning here. Okay, so full rich, it starts to die. Turn it in before it dies, so you don't gotta restart it. Half a turn, and then usually a full turn, and it'll start to die again. Okay, let's say this thing was 1 full turn from rich to lean. Okay, once it goes lean and it's gonna die, go a half a turn plus a little bit. That's usually the setting that you need. So you go grab a better screwdriver. This idle screw is very tight. There we go. Turn it down a little bit. Let's see what this thing's gonna do. I'll turn it on. That was weird. Let's try that again. I always grab the clutch to make sure the clutch is engaging. Oh, this thing might need a clutch. Okay, let's turn the idle down then. Interesting, friends. This thing doesn't want to idle. So yeah, this thing's gonna need some work, like they all do. Yeah, so friends, this thing needs a clutch spring. The spring is, yeah, super loose. I have some of these, so no big deal. But again, just all little things. Yeah, like this spring, friends, is so loose right now. That's why when I'm grabbing the clutch, this thing's stalling because it's engaged all the time. So I'm just gonna leave this thing right here the way it is. We know it starts, runs, and idles. We know the recoil works now, more or less. It does have a few little recoil issues. Probably have to go in there with a file and file down the starter pause. We know it idles because it's blubbering oil everywhere. Anyways, friends, Husqvarna 181 SE. No, sorry, friends, 181. I don't think they ever made a XP version of these. The 288 was the XP. I don't think they ever made a 281 XP. Although I could be wrong. I know the 181. Well, this is a 181 SE, friends, so I don't think the 281 became an XP. Post a comment below if you know. I don't know that. That's one thing. Anyways, friends, these are great saws. They are around. They are available. You just gotta look for them. These things are even available in my neck of the woods. And they're usually priced better than a 288. And a 288 is most 288s I find are absolutely knackered. There's nothing left of them. They're used up. There we go. Here's the other one. Sorry, friends, if I keep blocking you here. But if you want a 288, you can buy one of these or a 281. Put a 288 top end on it and a 288 carburetor, and you're off to the races. That's what this saw is, friends. I don't even think that one will fire. Every time I've tried to start it, since we're standing here, why not start it? Every time I've tried to start this thing, it doesn't even pop. Take this off. This is a nice, clean saw. See if it has fuel in it. It does, sorta. Here, we'll put a splash in here and see if we can get this thing to go. This is Old Timers fuel can. How's it going, Old Timer? It ended up in my truck after buck and stock last year. It's okay. I have a plan to get it back. It's coming back to buck and stock in my truck. Anyways, I got home and had an extra fuel can that I didn't even know was in my truck. Okay, friends, let's see if we get this thing to start. I don't think it'll even fire. Every time I've tried to start this saw, it doesn't even pop off for me. Let's take the top cover off. This is a shame because that 288 ran like a scalded cat. The one I built on the Chinese clone saw. But the problem was with it is it didn't run for very long. And it had tons of issues with the Chinese parts. So I figured, I'm just going to check where my jets are at here. It's a little cold out today. So I figured, why not put that on this beautiful saw? Half, one, and a quarter. I'm going to go. Okay, let's see if this thing will start. It's probably, it won't even fire. Whoa! That's all it does, friends. It fires and then it shuts off. I think it probably has a massive air leak. Probably from when I glued it together. But who knows, friends? I'm 98% sure though that it's got an air leak. A big enough one that it won't start. I have a feeling. I don't know, friends. This thing's probably, it probably has an air leak in the intake manifold, would be my guess. But it was funny because when I took this thing apart, I never took the intake off. I literally just popped the top end off and piston everything onto this chassis. Yeah, that's all it does, friends. It runs for like 2 seconds. Oh, we'll get this thing going another day. This top end cuts like, whoo! This is the best 288 I've built to date. I've built a couple before this, but this is the best one. This thing, we'll see if we can get it going, maybe for bucket stock. It'd be fun to have a bunch of 80cc saws there. Anyhow, friends, well, one video turned into 2, I guess. I was going to show you that saw that I just picked up, but anyhow, friends, 181 SE, great saw. If you could find one, pick it up. It's great saw for firewood, falling, bucking, whatever you want to do. You can put a 32-inch bar on this and let it eat. It'll pull it, no problem. Thanks for watching. Take her easy. Later.